Okay, this video is going to review the main causes of World War One, and we're going to look at a little bit more into the spark. And we discussed that you did a little bit on the main causes with the images if you did that, and evaluating that in previous activity in the web of alliances. Now we're going to review that briefly, and then we're going to get into what really sparked it. Now, before I see you see double faces here because what I have here, hopefully your pair deck is integrated now. So I'm actually gonna start. I'm gonna actually do something here. I'm gonna get rid of me for a bit here. I'll bring me back in a bit, but I'm gonna get rid of me for a while here, and you're gonna hear me. And so remember that if you're right here, you can. The pair will be there, but I discovered that you can play it and stop it in the middle. So if you need to like look at a slide to answer a question in the pair deck, you can remember that we were talking before about WWI and then stop it right in the middle. Okay, so if I in the main causes, we would identify MAIN. So let's say I need to get to that slide, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. That you could stop it right in the middle. Put your finger right in the middle. Also, down at the bottom, okay, down at the bottom, you can click a YouTube video and it will play. It will open up YouTube. A lot of people were complaining, "Well, I get to the slides." Well, that's how you can do it. Okay, and then it should, but hopefully it should be embedded in there. Okay, so let's move on to the actual meat and potatoes here of this. So I'm gonna throw this into slide mode. Of course, you just swap presenter view. So remember, we already reviewed militarism and how militarism is the glorification of the military. Nations believe that to be great, that they truly had to have a powerful military. And powerful military. Great Britain had everybody except Great Britain had large standing armies, and they had to quickly mobilize in order to quickly mobilize and move troops. The greatest competition was that naval rivalry between Britain and Germany. Britain, of course, built the largest navy to protect its empire, and Germany began acquiring overseas colonies, and it finally began to build up its navy. Remember, Bismarck was initially very resistant to that idea. So this slide's a little weird. It actually is going to come up now. Okay, what do you know? The alliances. Remember, the alliances are those agreements between people, between the countries, and how they had pledged to defend one another, and these alliances started actually in Bismarck's day. The Triple Alliance started as a reaction to France longing to avenge its defeat in the Franco-Prussian War. So Bismarck signed treaties with the other powers with the understanding that France would not attack Germany without help. So he formed this triple alliance with Italy and Austria-Hungary. So Germany and Austria-Hungary fought on the same side when the war finally did erupt. Then you've had the Triple Entente, which is a reaction to that. Entente is a little bit more not a non-binding agreement, but not as formal as a treaty, but it led to close military and diplomatic ties. And Britain later joins this agreement that Russia and France had first signed in 1894. So Triple Alliance and Triple Entente. This is setting the stage for what's going to end up happening. Okay. Then you had, of course, imperialism. And imperialism, we've already learned that the nations were fiercely imperial and fiercely trying to compete colonies in Asia. And sometimes this pushed them to the brink of war. And you see their increase in expenditures, and especially Germany from 1910 to 1914, their increase in expenditures. And so these underlying main causes that we've looked at: imperialism, number 3, trying to build up an empire, and nationalism, of course. The idea that the competition among nations, with each seeking to overpower the other. Think of the violence that breaks out between like fans of football teams. This intense pride may cause them to do harm on opposing fans. So nationalism is that intense pride of citizens, if you remember. So Germany was proud of their empire's new military power, and France longed to regain its position as Europe's leading military power. So those are the main, the main: militarism, alliances, imperialism, nationalism. Now, just to quickly, now what was the spark? Okay, so they had to light up, and the spark then was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary, and those of you that had U.S. last year may remember this, and his wife were assassinated by the Serbian terrorists, Gavrilo Princip. And remember that here in Sarajevo, the assassination taking place in Sarajevo, the terrorists were from Serbia. Okay, and again, Austria-Hungary ends up blaming Serbia for these murders, and they did declare war on Serbia in July of 1914, July 28th. So the alliances come into play. So then on that same day, Russia and ally Serbia orders the mobilization of troops along the Austrian border. France comes to the aid of Russia, and on August of 1940, Germany expels them as a path to France. So then Britain declares war on Germany. World War I begins. It's like a spark. It creates a domino effect. Okay, it creates a domino. So you see there what happens. Austria-Hungary blames Serbia for this terrorist attack, and we're going to watch another brief video on what really is driving the Serbian Black Hand to do this assassination. So they declare war on Serbia. Russia declares war on Austria-Hungary, and on July 28th, and these alliances came into play. So this Germany declares war on Russia, Germany declares war on France, Britain then declares war on Germany based on these alliances. Okay, based on these alliances. So that's what ends up being the spark. This complex web of alliances starts chaining into each other like a domino effect. So domino effect. So that is what the spark was. I think you're going to watch another brief video here on the deck with describing a little bit more on the spark, and you may answer some questions on that a little bit more in depth on what the actual motivations were of the Serbians in this group called the Black Hand to do this.